to say a little bit about this event and how it came about and why, let me just start with the reference to François, who in a recent video spoke about literature and computers, and he said that the computer is not really the main question today, and I can only agree with him. Because the computer was an exciting thing just 20, 30 years ago, but today it's just everywhere. Look around in the stable, so this is not how it would have looked a couple of years ago. And even the internet is actually not a new thing anymore, but it's still something that is somehow in transition of changing our lives and literature. And when theorists speak about electronic or digital literature, they tend to focus on the question as to what constitutes their electronicness, so why is it electronic, what defines the electronic in this literature, which is online. And Catherine Hayes notes in her book Electronic Literature, New Horizons for the Literary, that the entire field of electronic literature tests the boundaries of the literary and challenges us to rethink our assumptions as to what literature can do and can be. And I could use this, in fact, as a sort of a programmatic note, because it is indeed implicit in much theory on electronic or digital literature that rather than the literary being a phenomenon among other modes or aspects of digital culture or electronic art, it is the electronic or digital that is considered a new phenomenon within the field of literature. To a certain extent, this is natural because, of course, literature has come from farther and back in time. I didn't ask, does everyone hear me at the back of the room? Okay, great. And there might be two reasons why the literary aspect, this part of the term, is just never actually considered. Of course, because it has a longer history, and it's just also just a too big a question to ask when we speak about electronic literature. What is that makes it literary? What is literature in that? But if the question Catherine Hayes raises seems to be going in the direction I am particularly interested in, namely, what is this literary in the digital literature, she then in that particular book goes on to talk about the Electronic Literature Organization's collection of electronic literary works, which are, so to speak, finished works. So they are mostly standalone works which could be often published on a DVD or any electronic medium, even if they were born online. We don't need it so much. But what is the more interesting question is how we do literature online, or how we do the literary online today. And this is what I propose to discuss today, with an emphasis on all three elements. So doing, what is it that we do when we do literature, or how we think about what we are doing when we are doing something that we define as literary in some way. What is it that is literary in it, and what it means, what it changes when it is online in this flux. I have a longer text here, but I think I'll just skip it, not to delay the other talks too much. But I just wanted to quote one more line from a Hungarian theorist, which I don't often go back to, but it just struck me how easily it helped me articulate the problem here for today, or the question. It's a literary critic who passed away recently, Mihály Szegedy-Maszák, who says that when the most important question for me is not so much what is literature, but when is a text literature. And he wrote this about 25 years ago, and I think it is striking that on the one hand, the assumption today that literature equals text is not so obvious, because precisely literature is, especially in the online medium, embedded in a much more complex multimedia environment, when it can do and interact much more easily with other media, which of course happened before, but not in this way. And also, when is a text literature is not so much the core question for me in this particular cases. When is a thing, so if we don't limit it to a text, when is a thing literary? Because literature also implies more strongly, I believe, that institutional form which already defines in some way what is literature in certain contexts. So in all these this equation, there is in fact two variables, two unknown factors. What is the thing that we are talking about if it's not just a text, and how it is, what is that we call literary in it. So this is the easy question that I throw out for today for you, and all the speakers will approach this question in their own different ways, and they will all relate to it one way or another. And I am hoping that these many perspectives will, on the one hand, generate more questions, and on the other hand, either from those questions or partial answers that we find in the discussions and in the talks, something will certainly come out. If nothing else, then just a lively discussion.